Alright, now after the supplement, let us go back to this. To what? Now we are talking about something of the rise in P. So from 0.5 to 1. So make the initial price as P1 and then goes up, increases to P1 star. Okay? So P1, a lower P1 to a higher P1 star. Lower P1 to a higher P1 star. Okay? And holding P2, Y constant. So let's see the effect of this. With the Marshallian demand curve, actually you may imagine that there is a Marshallian, and this corresponds to a lower price, and this to a higher price. It's P1 star, P1. So it's a Marshallian, okay? So behind this point, there corresponds a utility level U1, which is higher than U2 behind this point, right? So the lower the price, the higher the utility level we have. Now, since the price goes up, and on the slide we say, oh, your consumer surplus are lost by A and B. So we know something that, oh, you are harmed. So how much you are harmed? If we may measure using the utility, so how much you are harmed? Initially you are here, which means you got U1, but after that, after the change in price, you are here. You got U2. So how much you are harmed? You lost utility from U1 to U2, right? So your utility deduction the change in utility would be the new one minus initial one. And we know U1 is higher than U2, so this would be negative, right? So the change in your utility is negative, which means, or which denotes that the fact that you are harmed. Alright? Because your utility level reduced, right? Due to the rise of the price. So you got less utility. Initially you have this, originally you have this utility, now you have U2 only. So the difference is actually the size or the magnitude you're harmed, measured in utility unit. However, we don't know what exactly U1 is and U2 is. So we need something to replace that, and we already mentioned that. We use dollars, money. And how may we do this? Alright, so this is the key points in these slides. We may use the expenditure function. Use the expenditure function to do this. So if we want to have U1, and with the initial price P1, P2, what would be the expenditure? U1 and minimize the expenditure. So this would be E given P1, P2, and U bar, or U1. Right? This is the money amount for the budget line. This is the money or the income of this budget line, right? It's actually the Y equals Y, right? Any question here? Once again, what does it mean by this? You got P1, P2, the relative prices, the slope, and we are required to achieve U1. So the minimum expenditure would be this, right? So E expenditure of P1, P2, and U1, which means the money amounts behind this budget line. Alright? Then what about E P1 star, the new price, a higher price, the old P2, and U1 again. So now we know the change in price will change the slope, right? Change in MRT. So the new MRT, however we wanna U1. So this. Okay, this corresponds to E P1 star P2 U1. Which one do you think is higher? This or this? Okay, let me ask you in another way. If you may choose, do you want to live in the world with P1, P2, or in the world of P1 star P2? Which world would you like to stay? Other things being equal, P1, P2, right? Because P1 star is higher than P1, so things are more expensive there. At least, good one is more expensive in this world. So it's hard to live there. And don't say even that we require you remain at the same utility level. So you need more money to make yourself stay in the same utility level, right? And you will see this with this, and actually this budget line, the income corresponding to this budget line would be the same corresponding to this, right? Because Y doesn't change. With P2 and Y unchanged, this is caused by the change in P1, right? So Y is the same. Now, this as compared with this is exactly this compared with this, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Once again. Now, we want to compare this with this. So we don't know which one is higher. However, this is equivalent to this, right? So as compared with this and this, we know the red one is higher. So this is higher than this, and this equals this. So this is higher than this. Oh. All right? Okay? Okay, let's take a break. 11:05. What about, okay? 11:05, come back to the class. Because the change is mainly due to this change. So P2 and Y unchanged, right? So Y is the income like this and like this. They share the same Y. Yes. This and this share the same Y.
What's the indicator on the vertical axis?
No. So this point is 0 to 2. So we replace to 0 to 2 and 2. So Y equals what? P2 Q2. Now P2 unchanged and Q2 the same. So this and this will be the same. And this one intersects on the higher Q2 prime. So Y prime for the red would be P2, the same P2, with a higher Q2 prime. That's why Y prime is higher than Y. Y prime is higher than Y. Because the change is due to the change in P1. Other things being equal, we have the same Y. We don't change any Y. From here to here, it's just because the price of commodity 1 is got higher. So we may buy less Q1. But we may still, if we spend all money on the consumption of Q2, we may still buy the same amount of Q2. So our income doesn't change at all.
叫做名义所相对所推到原本效用现在是切点，原本效用无意使用的切点找到 B， 是 A。
Let's take a break.
这样比较 OK。降价，那个涨价，一人节的，就是这样。原本你消费点地方哪个？来，现在 P1 上往内退点。在我们原本的那个切的那一现在叫现在因为铃木所的变少。相对所得变少，因为我涨价，我自己变少。对。我来到了 C A 到 A 到 C， 才知道它不是说点就是它是跟这种不同样的，但是的这一条的用这一条加条快点，因为制止是麻烦就是应该在你新的地方内下，不写往外推，推到原本效益曲线的切，但不会是 A， 因为你的斜率不一样。推到这开花的上面 A B C A 到 B 是什么？就是一半 B 到 C 是因 方一方 ，S 1加 I 1等于。过来，这很难解释。
学长鼓励全开的是吧？
哎，好，你们等，他最后下来，I 1
哎，你又是参考数学，你写那几字要干嘛？又不是数学算式。
你怎么看起来这？为什么是？
啊？他就跟那个啊，就跟同学去参加游戏。
看我们两个有一个跟我考的系数完全一样，前面6个大概系统。他另外一个是找单讲，可是他什么数学好？应该把
我说蓝色啊，我觉得擦掉。
这个不太好。OK 吗？哎，我有。